Hello. I don't have words from the Lord that He told me to write down this morning, but He did lay some things on my heart this morning that I believe He wants me to share. So when I first woke up, I had something on my mind. I believe He put it there, something that I never think about anymore. Okay, this is a little part of my testimony. Um, I was married for Well, I was with him for 19 years. We were married for 13 of those years. We had three children. And when my kids were young still, my boys were 9, my daughter was 12, when he abandoned us for another woman. Now, let me tell you, we were very active in the church. We were baptized together before the twins were born, when my daughter was a baby. And we became very active in the church. He was head elder. It was a very small little country church, but he had the position of head elder. And I was on the church board and treasurer and did a lot of things. Anyway, we were kind of what you might have thought of as a great model couple, a young couple with young children, giving our lives to the Lord and everything. And he had an affair. And it was worse than a regular affair because, he came back. I mean, when I found out, I forgave him 3 times. He kept going back to her, right? And I'm sorry. There's so many thoughts coming into my head right now, and I got to stay focused on just making it short, and that's what I'm trying to do, okay? So let me insert right here that if you're interested in this kind of thing, if you want to hear more about my testimony, which I have a lot of testimony. Anyway, I have a whole different channel where I put my whole life story out there. It's 100 videos, which you probably don't want to watch, but I'm just throwing that out there. If you feel like you have the time, it's my testimony, very candid and very open, transparent about things that people don't usually tell in their testimony. And I didn't do this as a straight on testimony. I just did it to document my life, like a bio, right? For my children and for entertainment, maybe, but also for spiritual reasons, because, everything I do, I like to be a witness, right? So my testimony is in there, but it's in there. It's a thread that goes through my life, of course, how God was with me and worked through my life. But I tell a lot of things in detail, which at times are very entertaining, at times are sad, at times are happy, and all of that. So if you feel like you're interested in that kind of thing, my other channel, it's called Senior Susie at 7 Decades. I started doing that when I was 69 years old because I felt like, I'm coming towards the end of my life. I want to document my life before I start forgetting details and all. And I'm glad I did, because now I'm 73 and I am already starting to forget details that I could remember 4 years ago. So I'm really glad I did that. And you guys might want to do something similar. But also, I know I've been through a lot. I've been through a lot of trauma, a lot of everything. I've lived a lot of life, and I lived many years in 4 different states and been exposed to a lot of different things. I did not grow up in a Christian home. But anyway, my daughter became a psychoanalyst. And after she was in her private practice for a few years, she told me, and I was starting to do this really mainly for my kids, right? So they would remember me when I was gone. But she was really encouraging and said it was really good for me to be doing this. She said it was therapeutic, and she said that I had a story to tell for sure. In fact, before that, she used to talk about wanting to write a book about my life. And but she got busy, with other things, and she thought this was a great idea to do it on YouTube. And as a psychoanalyst, she told me that I have been through more trauma than any of her patients she's ever had. And she's been in practice for going on to 10 years maybe now. And she also said that out of the 10 major traumas that I've experienced, 8 of them. So I do have a story to tell. It's just too bad that I drew it out into, 100 videos. But I'm only mentioning that because if you like what I'm telling you today, you might want to go see more of my life. You might want to know who you're listening to about spiritual things, what my past was, whatever. But what I want to go back to quickly, I don't want to make this too long. What I woke up to was thinking about when my husband, he actually abandoned us. He got a girlfriend, and he started staying out, not coming home till late, and anyway, I forgave him. When he admitted it, he didn't even apologize at first, but eventually, after a short time, he was sorry, and I forgave him. And then it happened again, and then I forgave him again, and then it happened again, and I forgave him again. And that third time I said, I can't keep doing this. By that time, I really didn't have any kind of affection for him anymore. I felt so sad. But what God put on my spirit this morning when I was waking up, I was remembering how I felt when he abandoned me and our 3 kids, right? My daughter was 12, my twin boys, were 9 years old. And when he decided to move in with this other woman, so he totally abandoned us. And how I felt at that time. Now, I got rid of those feelings. I forgave him in my heart. It took a while. Didn't happen right away, but in prayer and going on with my life, I eventually forgave him in my heart, and I moved on with my life, and eventually got remarried, and that's a whole nother story. But I don't dwell on hurts, on bad things that happen to me. Maybe it's a gift, but I don't keep replaying it in my head. I don't dwell on it. I just pray until I can release it, get rid of it, and then I just move on, right? And it's happened many, many times. But this was maybe the worst hurt I've ever had. But like I say, it was way back. This was in 1990 when this happened. And he actually died by a tragic accident in a landslide. He died like 13 years ago, 13 years ago. So all these memories are so far behind me, right? But I woke up with it right in my head like it just happened. And I was feeling all the emotion of when it happened, how bad I felt at that time. And I was like, why am I thinking of this? It's so strange. I haven't thought about this in so many years, And the Lord put it on my spirit that he wanted me to remember those feelings, because that's how he feels when he is abandoned. When people who were with Christ abandon him, when they turn away from him, people that he felt like, they were like his bride, that he cherished, and how they hurt him. He wanted me to feel how he felt. That's And I said, Lord, I'm getting it. And then, I moved on with my morning, but I really felt impressed. And through my morning prayer and all that God was saying, He wanted me to share that. He wants me to remind you that idolatry is also adultery. And anything you put equal to or above God in your life is idolatry. And God considers it adultery towards the relationship you have with Him. So He wanted me to give you that today. And you can, if you don't realize, you could look it up. The word idols, adultery, idolatry, mostly throughout the Old Testament, it's repeated so often, and it's also in the New Testament. But you could do a study on that yourself if you're not clear on that already. But I just wanted to share that, and something else that He laid on me. I'm going to make it a separate video. I'm going to do it right now because I don't want this to be too long. Whoops. Okay. I'm going to go now and watch for another one coming up right behind this one. God bless you. I hope you have a great day in the Lord.